What's up, family? It's your girl Ike here. I'm your favorite lawyer. So I had to take a minute to watch the video of the sentencing for Jussie Smollett before I could jump on here and say something about it. Now, my prediction was that he wouldn't get jail time. I'm doing something different with my hair. I took my extensions out. Took my earring right off. Anyway, my prediction was that he was not going to get jail time, and I'm blown away by the fact that he was sentenced to 150 days jail. So the sentence was, in its entirety, he has to pay restitution somewhere in $120,000. There's separate from a fine that's $25,000. Then there's like a miscellaneous DNA fee, and then he has 30 months of probation, which begins by him serving 150 days in jail. Now, the judge didn't have to give him jail. It was within his full discretion to not give him jail time. And we've got to ask ourselves as a society, what is the purpose of jail? Because we're allowing judges to make the decision as to who should go to jail and who shouldn't, right? And if we're going to give them that unfettered discretion, there's got to be some sort of indicators for them to follow. And there aren't. Because we see cases like Ethan Couch, and I always bring this one up with the white boy who killed 4 or 5 people. He killed a few people, paralyzed a few people, and the judge said he had affluenza, having been given too much stuff. He didn't have the ability to reason and ration and appreciate the consequences of his actions, and he got probation. People were dead. 2020, Des Moines, Iowa. Young man named Darquan, I wrote his name down somewhere. Darquan, forget his last name. Anyway, he was assaulted by 2 white men. The white men pled guilty to a hate crime, and they got probation. The young man was actually hurt. He was actually attacked and assaulted, and they got probation. That was Des Moines, Iowa. I think one of them name was like David Lee, some shit. Anyway, I'll come back. I'll put it in the comments what the actual, what their names are. So we see that there's a pattern of conduct. I brought this up before. There was a young man who was convicted in New York of rape, sexual abuse over a course of conduct. 4 different victims. And the judge literally said incarceration is not appropriate. And it just seems like there is this idea in the criminal justice system that jail is reserved for black people, right? It's more than just an idea, because we see it being played out constantly. It's more than just an idea. And so I think that listen, I'm not condoning any of his actions, but pretending to be a victim certainly should not get you more time. And lying about it shouldn't get you more time than people who actually victimize victims. This is all I'm saying. It's not right. It's not right. I don't think he should have gotten jail time at all. And if he was going to be sentenced to jail, they should have stayed the actual him going to prison until after he had an opportunity to appeal, because maybe he does have some technical issues on appeal, right? The first thing that struck me as odd was the judges going into this whole recitation of how we got here, right? And he brought up this woman, this Miss O'Brien, and he's like, she's just a regular person. No, she's a nobody that nobody sent, right? That's her moniker. That's what she said. But in fact, she is somebody. She's a retired appellate court judge. So when she files something, even as a layperson, because they say her license is suspended since 2014, as a layperson, other judges are going to pay attention because she's their friend, their colleague. They worked with her. They respect her. So what she's saying, they give deference to, and that's what happened. After the first prosecutor, Kim Fox, threw out the charges, she filed some paperwork asking for a special prosecutor to be appointed, right? And so you just think about that for a second. Think about that. Think about when the grand jury did not indict Daniel Pantaleano, or whatever his damn name is, in Staten Island, right, for the murder. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Do you think that any layperson could have just gone to court and said, hey, I'd like a special prosecutor appointed. We'd like to have a special... Get the fuck out of here. That does not happen. That does not happen. So that's disingenuous for him to sit there and say, she's a nobody that nobody sent. She's somebody. If she was not somebody, then nobody would have paid her any attention. Okay? And instead, what she got was these charges reinstated, and now this young man is going to prison. He should have gotten a sentence of probation. He should have been given community service so that he could go into the community and talk about why some of these things that he's been accused of doing are wrong. Right? There was so much more utility we could have gotten from him than to have him sitting in a jail cell for 150 days. And I think it's fucked up. And he's only there, because he's black. Because I've already demonstrated why so many other people who have been charged with crimes aren't in prison. And I just think that prison should be reserved for people who commit violent crimes. It should be reserved for people who commit violent crimes. That's just my opinion. But so yeah, I think he got a raw deal. I know those of you who are asking, inboxing me trying to find out what you think about it. What you think about it? I think he got a raw deal. I mean, it's enough for a black man to have a felony, and I think that oftentimes courts, particularly white judges, discount the collateral consequences of having a felony in this country for black people. Right? That's punishment enough, motherfucker. Shit. Sitting this man in jail, that's traumatizing, and they don't even understand. Have you ever visited a prison? You know, have you ever visited a jail? Do you know what the conditions are like? It's not a place where someone who hasn't harmed someone else should be, right? And you sent him to jail specifically because he lied, because he cost the state some resources. That's not a reason to send somebody to fucking jail. It's just not. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to land my plane right here. All right? It's your girl here, Ikiespeaks. I love you. I really do. Peace.